Welcome to Journeys of Empowerment. I'm Michiel Sujit-Reit. Around here, we slow down. Through honest conversations with aspiring, impact-driven female founders, we sit with the turning points, the inner shifts, the quiet recalibrations behind every chapter that's actually changing. If what used to feel like ambition is starting to feel like a little noise, and what feels like alignment is asking for more space, these stories will meet you there. Clarity isn't found alone. It begins within and moves outward, one real conversation at a time. Let's step into this together. What if the way you relate to money isn't really about money at all, but about safety, trust, and what you learned far too early? In this episode, I sat down with Ana Herrero-Wallace, author, keynote speaker, and financial mentor, and someone who has lived the shift from survival into conscious financial agency. We explored what it means to grow up with instability and carry that imprint into adulthood. How early independence can shape a deep sense of responsibility and isolation. And the way success can be driven more by fear than by alignment. We spoke about the connection between money, identity, and belonging. And how real change begins not with control, but with awareness and small, intentional steps. She put it plainly: I have enough money, I have enough friends, I have enough love, and I can trust the process. This one landed. Scarcity is not about money alone. It quietly shapes how you see yourself and your place in the world. Let's get into it.
Let's have fun.
Let's have fun. Welcome to Journeys of Empowerment.
Thank you for having me. What an honor.
It's an honor also for me. Hey, Ana, before we dive into, let's say, your amazing journey, I would love to challenge you or invite you to envision a little bit, who do you aspire to become?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you. And it changes a little bit, right? I'm still developing. I've been doing my own business for around a year now. So it's who am I becoming, right? I became an author a year ago. Well, I started writing a book a year ago, published in March. So now I'm an author. And I'm also a mentor for women, for finance, personal finance. And and now it's evolving to maybe writing another book, maybe also having coaches learn to do also financial coaching. So couple therapists, they want to do financial coaching, even people that want to be like me and become financial coaches. So there is some ideas and things are progressing, but I have to say I love it. I wake up every morning super excited, and it's going really well. So thanks for asking.
Hey, what is interesting is we had a pre-video call, and out of that pre-video call, we agreed upon a central theme, which is traveling to the whole conversation. And our central theme for today, sort of the Northern Star, is from scarcity to financial agency.
Definitely.
Before we dive into your journey, let's break it down a little bit. What do you mean by scarcity, and what do you mean by agency? So let's start with scarcity. What's this for? Is it scarcity or scarcity?
Scarcity, I suppose.
Yeah. What do you mean by scarcity?
So the way I describe scarcity, I've had many moments in my life, but it started growing up from abundance to scarcity. And I think we might touch on this story later again. But my father lost his job at 12, when I was 12. And it brought this from having a lot of money to having no money. So that was my first moment of scarcity. And then throughout my life, that brought me also a scarcity of, let's say, if I don't have enough money, maybe I don't have enough friends, maybe I don't have enough love. So I think that just really translated to other things. And then going to university, and after university, really seeking jobs that were that made sure that gave me enough money. So there's also that scarcity mindset. throughout my journey as well, I've had layoffs. And rather than maybe follow my dreams or follow my heart, I always, went seeking for the next job, the one that paid the most, or not sleeping at night because I felt that I didn't have enough, when in reality, I do. And so that is how I mean scarcity.
Thank you very much. And what do you believe, what is for you the meaning of agency?
See, for me, the meaning of agency is really having visibility over who you are and where you want to go, the transparency. And I look at it throughout my numbers. So, okay, this is where I am now. This is where I want to be. What do I need to accomplish now to get there? And feeling like I'm in control of my life. So that's how, and that is what I teach other women to do, to be control, rather than just being subject to a paycheck or to external jobs or whatnot. I don't think working is a bad thing, for sure not. But it's about also having agency of your own life, of your own finances, so that you can have a better life. So that's the aim.
Well, thank you very much for such an elaborate answer, and it gives already a view on, hey, who is Ana? So, you mentioned that you wrote a book. I have it here. Still Thinking.
Yes.
Smarter Money for Women.
Still Thinking Act. Yes.
Still Thinking Act. And I would love to start our conversation a little differently, because I'm going to read
Thank you.
A short part of the introduction, and it brings us right back to where I would love to invite you to start. I recently found an old pink diary tucked away in a box in my wardrobe. Its pages were slightly curled at the edges, covered in uneven handwriting and the small dramas of a 12-year-old life. Friends, school, and secrets. But one entry stopped me. The words were simple, yet they captured the day everything changed. I was just turning 12 when it happened, in the early 1990s, when Spain was hit by a deep recession, and 1 in 5 people was out of work. My father lost his job. He had been the sole earner in our family, a respected executive with a chauffeur and a personal assistant. And then, almost overnight, there was nothing. The first question pops up is, if you listen to your story by me, what does it do? What happens?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite emotional, but it's very visual as well. So, yeah, I mean, I would say there was a bit of a trauma. I had a normal childhood. Everything was good. And in my little bubble, lived in Madrid, upper middle class, private school. Mother didn't work. She stayed home. Father worked a lot. Didn't really see my dad much, just working all the time. And I know he was an important guy, right? Some sort of CFO, finance. Mm-hmm. There it comes. And yeah, Spain has always been quite, a lot of unemployment and so forth. There was a recession in the 90s, and he lost his job. And he came home really ashamed, and I guess I didn't really understand it. But I do remember him just staying home from there, from not seeing him to seeing him a lot, but not in a very, let's say, quality way, because he was just worried that he couldn't find another job. And, there was no LinkedIn back then, right? Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit waiting, looking at the paper. I remember him reading the paper. That's where the job bulletins were. And, he actually was not able to work for 2 or 3 years.
Ooh.
And I do remember it was quite secretive. So like a bit of darkness. I remember that, the door closing, and And I think there was something with him. He studied an MBA a long time ago, like when no one was doing MBA. So he was a very accomplished man, or he is still, right? But his whole ego was his job. And so then you take that away, and what can you do? And luckily, I mean, when they had money, they bought a summer home 2 hours away from Madrid. And then they actually went and lived there to make it a bed and breakfast when I was around 15. But the weird thing is that I lived alone since I was 15. So normally children leave their house at 18, or even in Spain much later, right? We hear about 35-year-olds living with their parents. But for me, it was 15. So whilst that looks pretty cool, it wasn't cool. Right, because it was
such a vulnerable age, right?
Vulnerable age, cooking for myself, and they had to do it for economic reasons, right? It wasn't, but it really brought a lot of, negative emotions. And I know my parents are very guilty, or feel very guilty about it. But back then, I felt that I would never want to be poor, because this is bringing so many bad things to my life. So. And yeah, I hope that's what I think of it. Yeah.
It is, but if you look, 15, cooking yourself, taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I had my brother. He's 17, but he also.
And he had to look out for you.
Yeah, but which is not fair for him either, right?
No. How did you cope with that frame of time and that in that age? What helped you then?
To be honest, I didn't cope very well. No. So I put a lot of mask, which I think stayed with me. But yeah, I didn't cope very well. So probably, a lot of loneliness. I don't see them as very great times in my life. So from 15 to 18, it was pretty rough. I try to forget. And I did, that diary is actually real. And it's pretty awful in the sense of, this is how I feel about life and all that. And it's weird because it's such a vulnerable age. I have 2 kids, so I'm also very conscious when they become teenagers, right? I didn't cope very well. They're 11 and 8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so hopefully that is something that we don't have to do, right? But I didn't cope very well.
Yet we are here.
Yet we are here.
Yet you are helping so many women, from financial literacy to agency and further. So I think already an applause in on itself worth, right? And then you have 15, 18. What did you decide to do after college?
Yeah, well, actually, I started university in Spain. I did 1 year of English literature. So I love writing and I love reading. So there it went. And then I had the possibility of going to the US for the summer. I have some family in the US, and just to work. In Spain, there wasn't many jobs. So I actually started working at Wendy's, like fast food. And then I was making money. So I was making my own money the first time in my life for the summer. And I also took a creative writing class in university, in ASU, Arizona State University. And it was just so easy to sign up, and everything was just organized compared to what I was used to in Spain. And then I thought I could just stay here and live with my aunt and my uncle and study in the university here, or I can go back to Spain and live with my brother alone in Madrid, where I'm not very happy. And so I called my father and I said, "Hey, Dad, hey, Papa, I'm thinking I'm going to stay here. I'm going to, not come back. I'm not going to, take my flight back to Spain. And I'm going to stay here. I can work. I can go to university here." And he said, "Ana, don't cause us any more problems, and Mama will be very upset." And so then he hung up, or I did, cried the whole night, thought about it, and next morning decided that I wouldn't go back. And that's where I started taking ownership of my life. and became financially independent. I worked, and again, my scarcity, so I need to have money. I was very lucky to live with my uncle. I mean, that saved me a lot of money. But 3 jobs, fast food, whatever needed to be done.
3 jobs, shifts.
I mean, that's what I did. And I actually didn't have any fun in university in the sense of like people are partying and doing all those things. I missed all that. So I probably did a little bit of Madrid, but then when I went to the US, I became, super responsible. Like I was already 50 years old and, working a lot. And but it was great. So I was making my own money, studying. I was getting straight A's for the first time in my life. My confidence was super high, getting really good grades, getting scholarships for university. So my whole life just transformed. And I have to say, I do want to say this. A month after I had that conversation with my dad, he called and said he was sorry. So that was great. He realized he made a mistake by saying that.
And this hit personally, your father acknowledging something and say sorry.
That was amazing. That was amazing for me. Felt really good.
India, my oldest daughter, if you listen to this, please go to episode 73, where I do apologize publicly about the years of being emotional, unavailable when you needed me the most. So now, please do accept my apology. So I truly acknowledge also your father by doing that, because we all make mistakes. But the acknowledgement instead of denial, that makes it even worse, or never talk about it anymore. But acknowledge that moment.
Vulnerable.
He
was never vulnerable.
No, of course not. It was the big man with the chauffeur and
really big
and
man.
The accomplishments and
which can go like that, right?
And yet you chose to stay.
I chose to stay. And I remember, I had really good grades. And
what did you study? Because we did.
Yeah. And I was gonna go to that. I spoke to someone at work, and they said, "What are you studying?" I said, "I'm studying English literature. I love this." And they're like, "No, you need to study finance. That's gonna, bring you the money." And I was like, "Yeah." And then it had also the highest GPA. So and I had really good GPA, so I can go into the finance school. And I didn't love all of it, but there was one class that I loved, and that was investments. So you had to research a company, and then whether you had to research a company that you would want to buy. Yeah. And I was just amazed and loved it. And so then I
assessment
found,
and slicing and dicing,
analyzing, and I'm going to invest here. And I can't remember what company it was. I think it was some mining or oil. I know whatever it was then, but I loved it. And then that kind of triggered something on me, with me. And I was very lucky. After university, I found a job as a equity trader, so stock trader, at a brokerage called Edward Jones. And it was a rotational program. I did many jobs for 9 months, but then I became a trader. And I was one of the few women. And I never thought it was a problem. It was just really cool. I really enjoyed it. And then I started really opening a portfolio for myself and trading, doing a bit of day trading for myself, which I don't believe in it now, please. But it was just fun. And it got me started. It's a little bit like I want to go to the gym. Mm-hmm. So I started going to the gym really early and doing weights. And now I can lift,
Compounding effect.
And now I can lift 200 kilo, let's say. But I started really early, and I'm really happy for those lessons. So,
what is the biggest lesson you learned?
Well, to do it, to not think of perfection, right? So I think that's also with the book. But biggest lesson I learned then is just do it. If it feels good, do it. And then if you make a mistake, you learn from it, right?
It sounds simple, yet it's never easy. So what helps you when it comes to the fight against perfectionism?
What helps me?
What helps you?
Just start. Oh, you know what helps a lot? No. Talk to someone who's done it already. And I'm good at that. I'm good at networking. So I just reach out and, hey, how did you do this? And then you just get the info. And then you just start. And you do imperfect. And then also, of course, getting coaches, mentors, people that can help. I believe in that. you know.
Yeah, of course, you're a mentor yourself.
Yes.
But who was at the earliest possible age your first mentor?
Yeah, it was a woman in my company, Edward Jones, and Cheryl, and Cheryl passed away last year actually. So and she was probably 7 or 8 years my senior, but she really took me, and she was so cool, and I was like, you think I'm cool? I was living in St. Louis, Missouri back then, and I was really different because people normally there are from the Midwest. They're born there, they're raised there, they die there. And I was this sort of strange person who has an accent in English. She's from Spain, but I'm not sure where that is or have not been there. And Cheryl loved me for who I was, and I didn't have to pretend to be American or pretend to be anything. And yeah, I think that was so cool. I was like, okay, I can be myself completely, and she's so cool. Anyway, so I really, truly, I miss her. Yeah. She was my first mentor without me asking her. So that was great.
That triggers a question. How easy are you asking for help?
Quite easy. Yeah.
Now these days, or
now these days, not before. No, and there was always this sort of independence thing, right? I think it goes back to my father's situation. I have to be independent. I can't depend on anyone because life can change. So I need to be secure. So probably didn't ask for much help, but I do now. It's and it's a little bit of the journey.
It's a muscle.
It's a muscle, and just like the muscle of investment has been there has compounded over many years. I'm compounding, and I just started compounding the muscle of abundance. I've lived many, let's say, years with scarcity.
Yeah, we talked about scarcity. Yeah. What do you mean by abundance? What is for you your personal definition of abundance?
So abundance is I have enough money. And it doesn't matter what the Excel spreadsheet says. I have enough money, I have enough friends, I have enough love, and I can trust the process. Whatever I do is going to work. And yeah, that's how I feel now.
That's a lot of enough. When is it enough?
Well, that's another... there is... we took some sort of test at my previous company, Workday, and I'm a achiever. Is one is communication. I love communicating. The other one is achiever. So I'm an achiever. So I suffer. Maybe you can tell me how I can change this. There cannot be an idle moment in my life. I have to be doing something productive, right? So it's this sort of achievement, which I'm loving now that I have my own thing, because it's interesting now that you are an entrepreneur, you see the changes fast, and you're doing the meetings that really make a change. Whereas before, sometimes at corporate, you're like, where am I? What are what is it that I'm changing? What is it that I'm accomplishing? And then sometimes it feels like you're just answering emails and being in meetings, but what is the change? And now you see it.
You mentioned also the change within yourself, and maybe I can help you. What if it's not about change? What if it's not about changing yourself?
So what if it's not about changing myself?
You mentioned, maybe you can tell me how I can change this, but what if it's not about change?
Yeah. I mean, what if it's about...
I don't know.
No, but maybe, it doesn't have to be change. It's about acknowledging who you are and just being happy with that.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
It's acknowledging who you are and being happy with that.
Wow.
Because you don't have to be someone else, right? Or you don't have to be... it's not a chameleon game.
Do you believe we are even able to really change? Do you believe that we can really change?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, you think so, and I truly believe that we often talk about, I need to change this on myself, I need to change that. You're not unique in that. Of course, I have also things that I say, okay, I have to change that. But what if it's not about change? What if it's not about change at all? What if it's about embracing and allowing ourselves to be us? You be you, me be me.
Yeah, could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Right?
Yeah.
And change because of what? Because of expectations, obligations, opinions of others?
Yeah, I do feel that I've changed a lot, though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you believe still, if you're looking back now?
I think so. Over the years, I've changed a lot.
What is the biggest change then?
Wow. So it's funny. I've lived in 5 countries, so I had to change all the time. But I wonder if, and this is getting me, whether I was running away from something also.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
That's an interesting one.
Sometimes.
What do you believe the answer is?
Sometimes I was chasing something else and it was easier to start all over again. But I do feel in some ways that I've had like 5 different lives. So I've changed a lot. Because you have to change all your network, all your friends. And I love that, though. It's like rebuilding.
Do you believe the change from outside change you? Or do you believe you have to adapt to the changing environment? What do you believe?
I have tried to adapt sometimes.
Yeah?
But it doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work at all.
It gets conflicting in yourself, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. And you're never Spanish enough, or you're never Dutch enough, or you're never British enough, or you're never American enough, or, whatever it is. Or Hungarian, because I used to live there as well, Hungary. And so, then you just have to accept it.
It's interesting. Now we're diving all of a sudden into a identity part. Are you thinking in Spanish or are you thinking in English?
I think in English.
You think in English?
Yes,
okay.
Even though I love speaking in Spanish.
And
sometimes I think in Hungarian words.
Wow.
This is weird. So I'll think about teto, which is like roof, and I forget the word in Spanish and in English, but I know it in Dutch and I know it in Hungarian. And it happens with Dutch also, that I remember the Dutch word, but I forget. So it's so messed up.
No, you're at the intersection of multiple countries, and and now the question is, where do you feel you belong the most?
That is just a weird question. Because I love Amsterdam, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's where I live. And I'm like, I'm so happy here. But then sometimes I'm like, no, I should go back to London because the career there is better. And then I'm like, but my kids love it here. And so there's a bit of that. I think about that a lot. And I know that when the kids are 18, I'll probably live somewhere else and live in probably Amsterdam for 6 months and somewhere else. I don't do very well with the winters here in the darkness. But in a way, like, I'm not scared of that. I'm not scared of meeting new people and just starting all over. So maybe there is this thing where in life, or like my father losing everything and me going to the US and building my life by myself with the help of my family, of course, my aunt, my uncle. Maybe it was this, and then when I moved to Budapest, I also didn't have anything. And then my relationship broke up and I didn't have anything. And then I moved to London, didn't know anyone. So there's this sort of proving to myself I can make it work. And
so much resilience also.
Yeah, resilient, but I love it. I love this sort of, I'm broke and how can I build it again? I love it. And it goes with friends as well. And I eliminate so many layers of things as I move. And like, I've never had better friends than now. And I hope they stay with me forever. But wherever I move, I'm probably, will meet other people that will be wonderful. And yeah, I never thought about that, but it's sort of this fighter, achiever mentality that I've made it work and I keep making it work. I don't know.
You mentioned fighter and achiever, yet, and it will become again clear. Before we started, maybe a little side note for the listener. Before we started this conversation in this recording, as you mentioned something, and I said, okay, what you just mentioned, it will become clear after the recording. So it was about receiving help and how easy does it come. But now I'm very curious about. This is my ADHD brain. Now I'm losing my so, and it's non-edited. So let's get back to get back to our conversation. It just popped out of my mind. So going back to the trading career passion, and also in London something happened. In London, something with an investment happened.
Oh yeah.
What did that?
So many mistakes, right? Love it, and it's actually in my book.
So many learnings.
And this is part of why I want to teach other women this. So I knew. I mean, I was registered. I mean, I was a broker in the US. I was licensed. I had all the education of investments. I did many tests, many series, all those things. And I knew what was right and what was wrong and what to do and what not. But then the greed and the fear and the FOMO got the better of me. And I remember being in London. I was working in a fintech company. We were creating software for banks and so forth. And I was at the cafeteria, and there was this colleague of mine, and he was a day trader in a way, a bit of a day trader, smart guy. And then he said to me, you know, Anna, I've been trading these 2 stocks, they're mining stocks, and I've been just making a killing. And I was probably, 31 or so. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind really buying, I want to buy a property. I want to get into the property ladder in London. I was spending a lot of money back then in clothing and other things that I don't do anymore. So yeah, I really want to. So I got my bonus. It was 10k pounds, and I bought 5,000 of one stock and 5,000 of the other.
Full.
And I mean, it was good for him because the stock went up quite a bit. It was very, let's say, we call it thinly traded, so it's not traded very often. So if you buy some stock, it will just go up.
Moves on.
So for him, it's like, hey, great. And then it went up, and then a few days passed, and it started going down, and it got down, and it got down. And 2 years later, I sold it at a 96% loss. Yeah, so I lost the whole bonus, and I didn't want to lose it. And I didn't. After a month, I should have lost it. I mean, I should have sold it. I didn't want to sell it because then I knew I would take the loss. I would be the loser, let's say. And I wanted to keep into that. And then I started realizing it's just so much psychology behind it. It's like being a doctor, but yet not washing your hands before you're doing surgery on yourself. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense. And that taught me a lesson. And so then I thought, okay, so I was just being greedy. I'm not going to do that again. And then I started buying what we call index funds, so low-cost index funds, ETFs, and that went really well. But I try to outsmart everyone else and be smarter than, and B, I was just doing something that was against my values. So I do now invest in things that are, in my values. Yeah. But
what did you already mention what you learned by saying, okay, stick to my values? Is that one of your learnings?
Stick to my values, stick to what you know. And I think there is so much also with social media and all that of, the next scheme, the hype, and I make 10,000 in 1 week. And, sometimes it's like, if it sounds too good.
Probably it is. It is. And you mentioned also values. Do you have a sort of investment manifesto for yourself.
Absolutely.
And what are the values? What do you value?
Absolutely. Long term. So I invest in long term boring stuff, and it's just compounds. You just leave it there, and then you do something else with your life. I read the paper because it's interesting, but I don't read the financial. I read the Financial Times because I find it interesting, but not because it gives me ideas about where to trade or what to do or what to sell or what to buy. So once you create a system for yourself, then everything, the money that you have, you just invest there, regardless of what's happening. Because what I do now and what I teach, there's two ways you can do things. One is the psychology way, the FOMO, the buy the 2 stocks, the, day trade, the read the paper and then decide what to buy. That's the psychology part. And then there's the data. And I'm very data driven. So, I'm so passionate about this topic. I listen to podcasts. I read so many books. And I've done it myself. And for me, it's all long term. So you create a system and then you just go with it and just leave the noise behind because you know better.
And long term,
yes.
Are there other guiding principles or values you live by when it comes to your investment strategy and also what you would love to help others with?
Yeah, and I have quite a bit of women that talk to me about wanting to do good for the environment. So there's sustainability as well. So you can buy investments that are more sustainable, like ETFs. Yeah. So you can do that. That goes to your values. For me, it's also diversification. So I was helping this lady once where she invested everything in Germany. So like 80% of her portfolio was in Germany. And I said to her, glad you're German and not Greek, right? Like it could have been really bad. I don't mean it in a bad way, but it has been a strong economy. But you can't depend on one currency and one country. So you have to really, my value is to really
spread it. Yeah.
And spread the eggs. And it's also a bit of greed and fear. So, you won't make millions and you won't lose everything, right? So it's kind of in the middle and you should be happy with that.
A little bit the tension of the opposites and then the tension of the opposites and then somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
And focus on the long term and on the compounding effect instead of the exponential promise which will never come.
Yeah, and this is a little bit on the wealth framework that I have. The T stands for time. And there's a whole chapter on this because time is just... I never understood time until you get older, I guess. I remember when I was 15, time was just... I just wanted to...
We had enough time.
Or I just wanted... Yeah, exactly. I just wanted time to go away. Like, just too much time.
And now we know memento mori, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's very interesting. But yeah, time is insane. And this is why when I talk to women that have huge amount in savings, so executives make a lot of money, have learned to make money, but never learned to invest or make money work for them. And time is the thing. Yeah.
So that investment loss, yet also in your career, there are a few moments of redundancy, and that also does something with us as human beings, right?
Yeah.
What was for you? What was, if we talk about the redundancy, what was the most impactful redundancy in your career?
Thanks for asking. So it's interesting. I was talking to a friend about this from work, the last one, and we said something like, "It's not personal, but it is personal." So you know how you have redundancies. One of them was, both of them were voluntary, but in a way, it's not about you and it's not about your performance, but it is personal, and it does hurt your ego, right? So, and I remember just the first redundancy, I was like, okay, so I'm going to travel. So we traveled for 6 weeks after, and then what am I going to do? And then I started my own startup to help women with finance, which is what, I've been always wanting to do. And then I started that, and I couldn't sleep at night. I was thinking, I need a job that, where I'm making a lot of money, and this is not doing it. I didn't give it a chance. So then I found another job that was amazing, actually. And then the redundancy came after 5.5 years. And whilst I could have stayed there, I thought, something's pushing me that I should just take the money and do something. And I went to Japan, did a bit of traveling with my family, which is absolutely amazing. If you haven't been to Japan, please do it. And then I thought, okay, I need to write this book. I actually wrote the book in 2021 while I was still employed. And it was just, I love content, I love writing, and my passion was to help women and to help with something that I really know about and that I've done, which is personal finance. And so I brought the book back and then started writing it. And for 9 months, I was pretty much at the OBA here in Amsterdam.
Yes,
yeah.
I know that very
me
well.
And the students, and just me, with the music and just going for it. And it taught me so much about perfection also, because it was like I kept changing it, keep deleting things, keep adding, I had a few editors, but I was never ready to publish. Never ready. And then I just did it. So that kind of showed me as well. And it's a little bit of still thinking, you're still thinking and you still wanted to make it the best book. And you just have to publish. And it's not perfect. You probably wouldn't notice if you read it. But I know there's maybe some, comma missing here and that. But you just have to do it.
Do you believe in perfectionism?
I used to.
What is it?
I do.
What
I
is
actually
it?
still do.
What is it? When is it perfect?
But it's a little bit. Well, I don't know if it's a southern thing. Like people from cultures that are like in Spain, it's very much about community and what other people think. So I had this night. I used to, before my book was published 12th of March. I got my books like a few days before that, and I had this dreams at night where the books wouldn't come, and I would go to my book launch without the books, and people would laugh at me. So there's this sort of community criticism that I have, like, okay, what are others going to think of me? And I think that's where my perfectionism comes from. But more and more I care less. So even,
Well, I think while we're maturing, it's a luxury of maturing and becoming our own person with our own opinion and less distracted to all the opinions and obligation expectations of others, right?
Yes.
That's the beauty of something in the book caught my eye. Those experiences changed not only how I manage money, but how I thought about it. I began coaching women about money and spoke to hundreds about their financial stories, where many were intelligent, capable and successful, yet still felt anxious or disconnected from their finances. They could talk openly about work, relationships and health, but not about money. That silence came at a cost. That realization became the seed of this book. As I wrote, something unexpected happened. This project helped me. It made me confront my own fears about success, identity, and enoughness. What did it help you to understand better about that, about success, identity, and enoughness?
Yeah, what this book taught me. Yeah.
And all the conversations with all the women. And
yeah. So when I started the book in 2021, it was about me a bit, about me and my mistakes, and also about finance, what is compound interest, etc. What are, where you should be investing, or, all those good things that we know. What is a stock? What is a bond? And then somehow last year I had more time, and then I thought, okay, I'm going to interview some women and just see their financial story. Like, I want to talk about this, and my friends know this, but I love talking about money. Not in a way of like I'm showing off, but more like, let me teach you, you teach me, let's share. How did you grow up? I love asking, like, how did you grow up with money? You know, I think money is just so many layers and so much. And talking to women, I mean, some women were financially, I wouldn't say, financially abused. So money can be a controlling tool. So the men that either they're dependent on the men, so then they can't leave a marriage, or they're dependent on a man who has full control over all the passwords of all their accounts. And they think that she doesn't know how to invest, so I'm going to do it. And that is she got divorced, so that's good. From also a story in the book, and it's actually one of the characters, Michiel, like your name.
Hopefully it's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's not a villain.
Well, no, there's no villains. There are no villains. There are three. It was three women, and then one of them became a man. That's a different story. But so Michiel is a lady that I interviewed, and she moved for another person. They were in London. They moved to Amsterdam, and she really took a step back in her career for him. And then they broke up. But instead of just like leaving, like I have done in the past myself, she asked for something. She asked for, even though they were not married, hey, can I have this much money because I need to start my own business. I need to do my own thing. And
wow.
Yeah, and that is great. And I wish I had known that, because I would have done that in my past. Because I think women do a lot of unpaid work. And we're not getting paid for the housework, or if we take part-time jobs, that's a different subject, but part-time work, we don't get paid for it, and we are penalized in our careers. So if we break up, why are we not taking part of that? And do we really have to be married to be able to take that? So I thought those were beautiful stories, and I spoke to 50 women on this, and even women that are financially secure but didn't sleep at night thinking they were going to lose everything and go homeless next day. I had that feeling also in the past myself, that scarcity. And I thought, okay, I need to write about these women also with the angle of finance. And it became 20 characters, 20 different ones.
20 characters, wow.
Yeah, and it was very difficult. And
yeah.
I have to say, the best thing if you're ever going to write a book is to have beta readers. People are reading it, and they read it and give you advice. And
I'm a beta reader
now
you are? Of a book of a friend of mine, and Emily van Putten.
Okay.
And, she, I can't tell much about it right now, but I'm really enjoying her book.
Yes.
So it's very important to get the right amount of feedback, right?
Honest feedback. And she said to me, you need to kill 17 characters, make them 3. And I did. And those 3 characters have stories from the other women, but then I had to just stay with that. So for me, it's taught me a lot. But one thing that I love doing is, again, talking about money, because money is such a taboo culturally. I think maybe the Netherlands is a little bit better. In some cultures, it's something you don't talk about. The US might be a bit better. And it's just so important. So I also used to organize dinners. I will keep doing that after the summer, perhaps.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we have a theme. And they're strangers. You talk to another stranger about money, or not necessarily your salary, but how you feel about this, or how you grew up with that. And it builds a muscle, and people love it. And then you every dish you change plates, so then you get to talk to someone else. And it's beautiful what you create when you let the women talk about it. As a mother, we talk about everything. We talk about giving birth, and we talk about kids and everything, but how come we're leaving those conversations that are so important?
What is your answer to that? How come that we don't talk about money?
Where
do you think the taboo comes from?
There is data on that. It's seen as tacky or pretentious or greedy in many cultures. So I think that's how it starts. We don't learn about it in school. That's another one. There's many different theories about that. And yeah, it's just not a topic of conversation. And I don't know, I mean, I think maybe with men it's a bit easier, but with women, no, you don't?
I don't know, no.
No?
I don't know.
I have data for the women, but it's not necessarily, yeah, and I just don't know why. And I wanted to change that. And I hope the book changes that as well.
Yeah, so what is the aim of the book?
The aim of the book is to teach and to empower other women and to get women to do something. There's a story, Katrine is a story, it's a real story. Her name is not Katrine, but she's quite wealthy, but she has all these bank accounts with cash. And so once you show Katrine what the numbers, what she's been losing by having all the cash and not investing, then really that still thinking becomes act. Mm-hmm. So that was the part I wanted to share. I also wanted to share mistakes. Hey, I have all the knowledge, but the psychology is sometimes stronger. And there's a beautiful part of psychology, I think. That's so important. Because we think money is just green or red or whatever color, but it's just so many layers of feelings and anxieties. And I wanted to go deep on that. So,
what is money to you?
Well, money to me now is now. Interesting, I say now. Because for me, it used to be security. And it used to be, security. And now is just freedom. Now it's just flexibility. And I sleep so well at night. Because I trust the process. I know everything is going to be okay. Yeah. Without having,
Are you sort of hatching? Job. A little bit hatching?
Hatching,
like put your eggs in different
I am.
baskets.
Different assets.
So different markets, different dynamics.
Yeah. So I have real estate, stocks. I have a book, which could be an asset. Mm-hmm. I'm going to create other assets. Which is already an asset. It is an asset because I don't have to work for it anymore.
It's your IP.
But yeah, that is true. But it's also, as people buy it, you make a little bit of money, right? So it becomes an asset. And I want also people to think about the difference between income and assets. Income can go like that. You can get laid off. In the world of AI, let's say, right? It's uncertain. And you have to get some assets behind you so that you can so that when your father loses his job and you're 12, you can just pivot, I guess. So that was it's giving me a lot of security, but it's also giving me a lot of space to help other people. So now I feel safer and I can, I feel,
What are the two, you have, your children are now 8 and 11, eh?
Yes.
8 and 11. What do you hope when they are 18 have learned about the role of money?
Thank you for asking that. So my company name is Ada Invest. My daughter's name is Adalina. Mm-hmm. So it's a unique name. It's actually a Dutch name. But that's a different story. And I don't know if you know who Ana Lovelace is. She's the first she was a mathematician from the UK in 18-something. And she was also the first programmer. So she's a strong lady. And I want to call the company with my daughter's name, but also Ana Lovelace. And it's a little bit like Ada Invest. I saw it like Ada Invest or like Michiel Invest. You should invest now. We talk about money very openly in the house. I used to say something like, if we go to a store and they're like, I want to buy a new Lego, I would say, no, we cannot afford it. And now I don't do that anymore. I say, no, we cannot. It's not in the budget this month. Let's see how we can afford it for later. So I'm quite open about that. Even King's Day was just lovely. I had to write about it. I just love King's Day for the kids. They write a budget of not a budget, but like they sold matchas.
Yeah.
For $3.25, and the cost was, they know it's like 22 euros. They gave us the 22, and then everything else is profit. But they needed to learn all that, and I want them. I mean, I love that the Dutch are doing this, and it's such a great environment for kids to be entrepreneurs. So we are hoping to teach our children, yeah, you have to work hard for things. They go. We also now, instead of giving them €5 every month just because, they have to do some chores of the house. They also clean our neighbor's house, and they make money with it. So they understand that money is
the labor
scarce.
Versus earning money and
Yeah.
and also, but that's how to earn money.
Yeah.
But also, what are you learning them to save
to teach them.
and to invest?
We are doing. We're going to do. I have talked about them. They know what aandelen stocks are.
Mm-hmm.
They know already. And I always give the example of McDonald's. Like, you can go to McDonald's and be a consumer and buy a burger. You can be an employee and have a salary, or you can be an owner. And then when someone consumes a burger, it's good for you. And, then it's like you're in the top of the pyramid, let's say. And they understand what being part of a company is. We're going to do fictitious portfolios. So nice. Basically, they have 1,000 fictitious, and they have to invest it. The only problem is that they don't have skin on the game. So I need to see how there has to be some skin in the game. And we're going to do the 4 of us, different portfolios, and see who does better.
Maybe are they willing to invest their favorite toys?
It could be a good one.
There could be
that there's €10 they invest and the rest is fictitious. So there has to be some skin in the game, because if not, it's just gambling, and gambling is not what you want to teach your kids.
Them to learn how to run a casino, right?
No, that's not what we want. But and then of course we started investing for the kids since they were 4. So we bought like an index fund. For them. So when they are, hopefully they're not listening to a podcast, because I don't want them, it's in the book. I hope they don't read that part. I want them to not know this until they're like 35 or later, right? And this is again time. Yeah. So I'm hoping that those will be lessons. And it's so simple to do, and I hope everyone does it.
Anna, with such a starting point and also resilience, if we look back, the 12-year-old Anna, what would you whisper in her ears with the lived experience of now?
That it's gonna be okay. You're gonna have enough friends. You're gonna find love, and you're gonna have enough money that you can help others. So I wish I had known that. But I didn't really see, back then, I didn't really see much of a light at the end of the tunnel at all. I thought this was it. I also thought I would study in Spain. I would maybe do as good as PA work for someone. I never thought this was going to be possible. And I was lucky there was an opportunity. I took it. I just trusted that. But yeah, it was I wish I had known that. You're going to be okay. And it's going to be great. No, you're not going to be okay. Okay, it sounds like I'm fine. You're going to thrive. And you're going to, be very happy. Yeah. I wish I had known that.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've still a lot of questions, but for now, I would love to ask you, also looking back, because it's journeys of empowerment, so our journey is always, of course, looking also back. What are you most proud of about yourself?
Yeah, and I know this is hard for me. Because it's, again, the achiever. So I wrote the book, and I thought everything would change. No, not that it would change, but that I would feel so accomplished. And I do, but now I'm seeking the next thing, so it's a little bit hard to just relax, to be. I have to learn to be rather than just achieve. But I'm really proud. I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of having an amazing partner in my life. That's the most important. I'm proud of having amazing friends. And that's actually the most important. And I'm also proud of the difference I make for other people. So like overachieving women that have it all figured out, but not their finances. And the way that we make it simple for them and they understand it, they're so thankful. It's just transformative. I used to do it with customers at work, right? Which is enterprise customers, which is good. But also with, I think that's probably what I'm most proud of. Just the change that I make in people and the hope from hopelessness to hope that they can have control and agency with money.
And from scarcity to financial, and to financial agency.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Ana, thank you very much for our conversation.
Thank you.
And of course, we will leave your contact details into the show notes, so people can, especially female entrepreneurs, female leadership, will be able to reach out to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, an honor.
Thank you for being here. If something in this conversation met you in a quiet place, a sentence, a silence, a moment of recognition, that's not coincidence. These stories carry ripples. Pass this episode on to someone whose chapter feels like it's turning. Follow Journeys of Empowerment so the next conversation finds you when it's meant to. And if the pull toward more clarity, direction and alignment is starting to feel less like an idea and more like a calling, there's a quiet space called the Clarity Intensified track. An open door for when the timing is yours. Until next time, keep going, keep becoming you.